guys, you're watching Hide and Sneaks, and the world has gone Squid Games crazy all over again with the release of the second season. Now, there's so many people creating content about it and getting excited about it. I myself have just binge watched both seasons, and it got me thinking. We see so many videos about people making outfits inspired by different pop culture references, but where is the sneaker collections? So I decided it's time to make a 7-day rotation inspired by Squid Games. Now, a couple things to call out first. I'll be approaching this from the themes, character, visuals, anything that I feel captures Squid Games the best in 7 different shoes. And yes, I know there are Squid Games Crocs out there, but we're going to be a little bit more creative than that. Starting off with this first pair. Now, as we know, throughout both seasons, we get very invested in the characters, and unfortunately, of the 456 players, only one can survive. That's where I think the Nike SB Blazer in the blood-spat colorway is such a practical shoe to include. One, it obviously captures the aesthetic of what's going to happen to the vast majority of the players throughout the overall tournament, but of course, it's a practical shoe. In the words of Deadpool, you wear your brown pants. So I think this is a great shoe to wear for the overall tournament for the players. Moving into that second day, a big thing for me was making sure, how do I capture the overall aesthetic of the player's uniform? Obviously, a great teal pair is needed for that, and that's where I thought of this gem from a few years ago, the Air Jordan 4 Teal. Now, this was created as an anniversary pair, so realistically, finding a nice and tidy pair to get hands on might be quite tough, but you can't say it wouldn't work really well with the overall outfits the player's wearing. Look at that teal, look at that white, match made in heaven. Well, maybe apart from the fact that Jordan 4s aren't super comfortable, so going for massive runs, and that's probably going to hurt, but hey, look, fashion over function, you're not going to be around a lot for a long time, so I think this is a great inclusion as your second pair. Now, the motivation of the overall show is there's desperation among players to service their debts, and this is the ability to win life-changing money. I sort of thought of the aesthetic of the pig and thought, how do I capture that? Do I go a golden route? Do I go a pig route? But no, let's take it literal and go the money route. I remember this pair from a few years ago, the Adidas Foreign Wings. This is the Jeremy Scott money colorway, so it's definitely very visual in the sense that it's showing an absolutely covered pair of shoes with the overall money icon. So I think it captures the overall motive of the overall breed of the players and the desperation, but with a very visual money aesthetic. Moving into the fourth day, look, this is where I had to get my thinking cap on in particular, because it's very easy to pick a black shoe, but I wanted to make sure we did justice as a nod to the front man. And the front man was seen, he was more of an architect in the first season, and spoilers if you haven't seen it, he's very more involved in season 2. And I think he's just such a cool character. So I wanted to find something to sort of capture that precision element that we've started to see about him in season 2. So I wanted a pair that captured that really nice sort of great aesthetic rather than just being a boring black shoe. And then the other part I wanted to make sure is in some shape or form we made reference to his mask. That black geometric shape is a very memorable part of his mask and his character. And that's where I thought of the Nike Foam Closet ones in the anthracite colorway. Look, this is sleek, it's something even Batman would look great in, and I think frontman will be very happy wearing this pair. Look, I know I've already picked a shoe for the players with the Jordan 4 Teal, but I couldn't help be a little bit more greedy and throw one more else in there. Look, there's 456 of them, so they're probably going to need a bit of variety. So instead of focusing too much on the teal, even though I've managed to capture a little bit of it here, I thought of this Kobe 8 Pro Tro that released last year as well. What I liked about this is it showed both Kobe's 8 and 24 numbers, but numbers are such a huge part of the overall characters and the players. They're not known by their names. So capturing this aesthetic, it's almost like they're walking over other players to get there, walking over their numbers. So I think this is a great inclusion and awesome because it comes in both a purple and a teal colorway. The teal colorway obviously works with the uniforms. Following up, my second to last pair in the 7-day rotation series. Obviously, one of the biggest aesthetics of the overall show is the intimidation factor of the pink guards. They've got the black masks with the symbols, the pink overalls, so I had to do something that captured a great pink and black aesthetic. Now, originally I wanted to go something that had that circle, triangle, square look, and I did consider a few of the PlayStation pairs, but this pair, the Nike SB Dunk High Run the Jewels, I think is a pretty good pair. Not only does it have the exact right shade of pink, but if you look at the swoosh, it has a nice geometric pattern to it. So not only is it a bit of a reference to the guards, but what I like about it is you get a bit of a hint of that geometric shape exactly like the frontman's mask. And moving to my final shoe of the 7-day rotation series, look, there were so many different ways I could go, but I wanted to think about one of the most iconic games that went viral and took over the entirety of what felt like that time when it came out in the first few episodes, and that was the Honeycomb Challenge. Now, looking at the aesthetics, obviously in the show they had to make the choice between the shapes, and the shapes were coloured red, green, blue, and yellow. So I've taken some of the visual cues from that, but what's more interesting is the particular model I've chosen, which has just that extra theming that I think aligns with the overall challenge. Now, those who are sneaky heads will be familiar with this model. It's the Nike SB Dunk Low in the Sandy Bodega colorway. More particularly, you'll know this from the time they did that photo shoot with eBay, and they produced two models, they cut it up, and as part of narrative and storytelling, they released it here, inspired by that cut up here. That's why you see these see-through panels that create that sort of separation between the solid parts and the non-solid parts, which we'll get to as where it's been cut. I think it's a great way of making it cure to the Honeycomb game, because when you think about it, their goal and challenge was to cut out the shape, and we've got a shoe that's in the same colours as the choices that they made, but also that has been cut up itself. So, a bit of a good narrative there. Well, I guess you must be player 456 because you made it to the end of this video. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of my 7-day selection. Maybe there's some other pairs that I've missed. Look, maybe I need to do a part 2, because apparently there's going to be a whole Squid Games extended universe. Who knew that was a thing? I plan on doing this on other pop culture references, so make some suggestions. Maybe it's X-Men, maybe it's the Avengers, maybe it's Harry Potter, maybe it's NFL teams, NBA teams, I don't know, brands. Let's go. Get the discussion going in the comment section below. Till then, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.